Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh and good day everyone. My name is Munirah Mohamad. I am representing my co-authors, Muhammad Zakhiri Makno, Yusramiza Mat Isa, Aspalela Rahman, Yohanif Yusuf, and Anis Shuhaiza Mat Salleh. We are all from the School of Law of Universiti Utara, Malaysia. We are presenting a paper on the role of technology in facilitating the crime of trafficking in persons. For the background, trafficking in persons has become one of the alarming or one of the most dangerous transboundary crimes of all ages, and in various parts of the world such as China, Iran, Russia, Sweden, Syria, Malaysia, and few others. And as you can see, the image here, it shows the purpose in which the persons are trafficked, 50% for sexual exploitation, forced labor, criminal activity, begging, forced marriages, and others. And in each of these situations, technology is reported to be a strong enabler or communication tool which facilitates the crime of trafficking in persons. Now, from the literature, they have suggested that the key themes engaged in this study is trafficking in persons, technology, and cybercrime. Now, trafficking in persons is the crime where traffickers exploit and profit from people or children by compelling them to work or to engage in commercial sex or other exploitations, as has been shared in the previous slide. And they also involve movement or transportation of victims from their home country to another country, either by force or by inducement. And technology can be said that its use has been very well used to facilitate each of these crimes. They could range from telephone calls, video conference calls, social media messenger, or even printed items. And sometimes cybercrime is also being invoked in such areas such spamming, hacking, for example, into the email, into the computer of the users, enticing them to be potential victims of trafficking in persons. Now, based on that, the objective of the study is to investigate the role of technology in facilitating the crime of trafficking in persons along the lines of technology adoption and cyber crimes. So we do know that technology works both ways, to our advantage, to our disadvantage. But in this paper, we are focusing on the part where the technology is facilitating the crime of trafficking in persons, engaging in doctrinal research and library-based. The researchers reviewed literature, statistics, government reports, archival documents, and relevant cases on human trafficking in coming up with this conceptual paper. Now, there are various roles. The first role is recruitment and advertisement. The potential perpetrators or the perpetrators approaching the potential victims of trafficking in persons for the purpose of recruitment as well as advertisement. They could be preying on the emotional vulnerability in the social media, in the communication, in emails, for example. Then they come up with ideas in order to give promises or threats, also by communicating using technologies. And this also means that the identification and personal data that we share, that the potential victims share on social media, for example, about their life, about their vulnerabilities, about their ups and downs, for example, it opens up for opportunities of recruitment using the technologies by the perpetrators. The second role of technology is transportation, because trafficking in persons always involve transportation from one country to another. It cannot be from within this locality or within a specific jurisdiction. So therefore, the coordination, what transportation to use, when is the time, the pricing, for example, the coordination must be done among the persons behind the perpetrators at the home country, as well as the parties at the accepting countries, for example. So the first thing is transportation. It must be coordinated, and by all means, literature has suggested that they are using technology for that purpose. And of course, to facilitate the delivery and acceptance, when to send off, when to accept, when they will arrive, for example, after that, how to get to the next facility, for example. So also technology plays an important role in facilitating the transportation stage. The third stage is the exploitation itself. Various aspects of trafficking in persons, victims are being exploited, so technology plays a greater role as well here. For example, the capturing of videos and images of the victims, the storing, the communication of those videos and images of the victims, and it could also be the banners, icons, websites, social media, for example, all only points in the same direction. That is, technology plays a great role in the exploitation itself. Okay? The images of children being used on websites, on banners, on social media, for example, these are also the technology that facilitates the commission of the exploitation stage of the trafficking in persons. And also various websites are coming up, mushrooming, on sexual and illicit online activities where it involves the exploitation of people. And finally, is rule number 4 on the financial management, definitely, because the key criteria in the trafficking in persons is involve payment, currency being exchanged. So therefore, technology also plays a role in the financial management of trafficking in persons, commission of the crime, like sending and receipt of payments. But more during this era that people are all engaging to online payments, bitcoins, e-currencies, for example, and it involves digital or virtual currencies that that relate to the financial management of the trafficking in persons crime. So in conclusion, as well as the recommendations, technology can always work both ways, to our advantage or disadvantage. I want to use this cell phone, for example, for my purpose, to my advantage, or I can also use it for a disadvantage purpose. So therefore, family institutions should be strengthened. The parents should be wary of the whereabouts of their children, of the activities of their children. Children must be wary of the of themselves, of the family institution itself. Okay, and self-awareness and responsible use of the technologies is a must, so that users can defend themselves against becoming potential victims of trafficking in persons. Because you see, increased time on the internet, devices for the individual child in the family. For example, it opens up the opportunities for online communication, virtual sharing of emotions, for example. So self-awareness and responsibility is also very, very important. And additionally, we are also recommending for policies to safeguard against our responsible use of the device to be in place at schools, institutions, as well as workplace, so that we will know the potential risks of what could happen if we share things that we're not supposed to share, for example, our private information, our personal data, online or social media, for example. So it is also one way that we can safeguard ourselves against such risks of becoming potential victims, because technology is being increasingly used. And therefore, the future research, we are recommending how, because this paper has already addressed how technology is used to facilitate trafficking in persons, we are recommending future research be directed towards how technology is used to avoid or to eliminate trafficking in persons. Thank you so much, everyone, for your kind attention. And this paper is part of a study carried out under a matching run between Universiti Utara Malaysia and Universitas Islam Riau. With that, thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.